found a love. There it is. I've never found a love like this.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to E20 Zone TV. It's Thursday, the weekend, and the bank holiday weekend, Easter weekend, is nearly upon us. Last night's game, there's left a lot of people talking and wondering what the hell is going on at West Ham. And for me, the news came out earlier on today about David Moyes will be in charge for the Fulham game. But before I get started on that, I want to say an apology. I watched back the afterthought last night, and my language was terrible. I won't even lie. And I'm a bit better than that. I shouldn't have lost my rag the way I did, but I'm passionate. I love this club to death, and I just want to see this club do well and win something before I actually pass away and die. Do you know what I'm saying? And it just means a lot to me. That's all. So I do apologise if I offended anyone with the language that I was coming out with last night, but it's heat at the moment. It's passionate. I can't say it ain't going to happen again, because it will do at some point. But it is what it is. So I apologise if anyone got offended by what I said. Anyway, let's talk about West Ham. And for me, I'm a bit lost today in regards of West Ham. I really don't know where we're going. I really don't. I don't understand why Moyes is still in the job. I don't understand what the ambition is from the owners. I don't really understand it, if I'm being honest. And I thought I'd do this video today to ask people what they think. Obviously, there's a lot of people with a lot of opinions about Moyes. I agree. My opinion is that he's not good for West Ham. Don't get me wrong, but you know, I look at it a bit further field. I look upstairs and think, well, what they see. Do you know what I mean? If we can see it on the ground, yeah, what are they seeing upstairs, looking down over it? Do you know what I'm saying? I think Saturday's game is a game where really that if we lose that, then I really do fear for us, because I just don't see how we pick up points against the big six when we're playing them, and we're asking us to go to Bournemouth, Palace, Leicester, Leeds, and win them games, and we have to win them games because a draw is not enough. So I'm a bit sort of at crossroads, really. I can understand it to a point why they haven't sacked him, but I look at it and think last night was just so bad, it was frightening. It was frightening, and it just wasn't good enough at all. So if anyone wants to come on, the link is in the chat. Do come on, have your say, and say how you feel. Obviously, last night Alfie come on. He had his opinion on it. He's backed Moyes up for a long, long time. But even last night, even he said enough's enough now. Even the interview that Moyes gave was just diabolical, to say the least. It was just poor. When he said about the fans on that interview, I had to laugh. I literally lost my rag when I heard that. Just to say, well, Dave, why are you digging the fans out yet again? Do you know what I mean? The fans pay your wages at the end of the day. Do you know what I mean? Because they come, they sit there, they buy merchandise, they follow this club all over the country and all over the world. Do you know what I mean? And you're digging them out because they decided to evacuate the ELS after being 4-1 down. Obviously, last night's game, I've had a look back at it, and it's just shambolic. The more I look at it, the more it just angers and frustrates me totally. And I'm a bit lost with West Ham at the minute. Do you know what I mean? I don't know what we're striving for. Are we an ambitious club? Do we have ambitious sort of nature in us? I think the mentality of the West Ham fan base is basically we will accept anything that we can get, when really we shouldn't be accepting this. We should be saying this is not acceptable. Some fans are of the equivalent of saying this is not acceptable, it's time to move on. But as a whole sort of scale, West Ham need to just reboot and start again. They really do. I look at the style of play. If someone could tell me what West Ham's style of play is, I'd like to hear it. I think the way we recruit players, it's like a scattergun approach, and it's like we're gambling to stay in this Premier League. Now, 20 years ago, this year will be the anniversary, the sad anniversary, when West Ham went down in 2003. And I hope history is not repeating themselves 20 years later. I see West Ham go down in 2003, not 2023. And in 2003, for me, that was a really, really good side. Some of the players we had in that side were absolute top-class players who went on to win multiple trophies at different clubs. When I do look at West Ham now, I don't see many leads in this team. Declan Rice last night, I'll give Alfie his due. He called it out how it is, and I'll be honest, West Ham played all right in regards of him. Like, and for me, I don't think we've got enough leaders in this team to sort of pull us away from this. One thing that I do hope, and I really do hope with West Ham, is that this defeat might kick them all up the arse and say, you need to sort yourselves out now. Because getting embarrassed at home against Newcastle, and no disrespect to Newcastle, Newcastle are a very, very good side. Right? They are. They've got some good players, and they're a well-organised, well-managed side. But we shouldn't be losing 5-1 at home against Newcastle United. Right? We really shouldn't. And now people will say that the game sort of reflected on mistakes from West Ham rather than what Newcastle did. Newcastle did force their mistakes at the end of the day. They did force the errors from West Ham. Don't get me wrong, West Ham was making it hard for themselves. But someone said earlier on today on Twitter, and I must admit I retweeted it, and I said it's just it only happens at West Ham. West Ham have won 14 games out of 55 games in the last 18 months, I think it is, or last year, or something like that. And I had to laugh, like, because it only would happen at West Ham. It wouldn't happen anywhere else. Excuse me. Anywhere else, he would have been gone. Now, obviously, I think a lot of people have turned around and said that, you know, what Moyes has done in 2 years, right? And they keep using that as a sort of thing to, like, giving credit in the bank. I'm sorry, the credit in the bank's well and truly gone now, and he needs to go as soon as possible. Now, on Saturday, I want West Ham to win the game. I really do. And we need the points. Right? I don't want West Ham to lose the game, so we get Moyes sacked. That's one thing I don't want to happen. But we're between a rock and a hard place at the minute in regards to West Ham, because if we win the game, he's here for another few more games. And it's just like a cycle. So I'm a bit lost with West Ham at the minute. And I look at last night and I see the fans evacuating the LS, and I'm looking at them and I'm thinking, I feel for them. I just feel for every single one of them. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, some of them people have travelled like miles and miles for the day to see their team get absolutely obliterated. Not good enough. It's not good enough. So really, it shouldn't be happening. It really, really shouldn't. So I'm going to leave it at that for me. I'm going to get into some comments and hear what everyone else has to say about West Ham at the minute, because we all feel the same pain at the minute, and it's just not good enough from the hierarchy upstairs. Now, whether or not you are GSB in, GSB out, or even if you just don't care, you just want to watch football, at the end of the day, you have to look and see what is happening. And what is happening is just not good enough at present. It really isn't. So for me, something's got to give, and hopefully it will give very, very soon. Let's start at the top and work my way down to the comments. Start off with usual suspect. David Moyes is still being employed by West Ham. Has got to be the 8th wonder of the world. Totally agree with usual suspects. Hope you're well, mate. Steve, afternoon, or how is that prick still in a job? He's beyond me. It's beggars belief. I totally agree. Snazzy's singing the theme tune. I'll quickly go down here a minute. Lucas is in the house. Afternoon, all. Hope we're all well. I am, Lucas. I'm good, bruv. How can he still be at the club after a 5-1 home defeat in a relegation struggle? To do nothing is not an option if there is chance for us to stay up. Yeah, I agree, mate. Irons lady, I really, really do agree. I just think it's to do with money. It's to do with money, and like what it is. I've said it for a long time on this channel, and a lot of the lads have said it. I think Mitch has said it with me also, that Sullivan's gambling. Sullivan's gambling with West Ham. He's playing a game that he's hoping that Moyes will keep us in the league. Now, for me, we can't hope on anything. West Ham are never too good not to go down. They proved it 20 years ago, right? And I see something last night about if West Ham went down, it'd be the best ever side to ever go down, right? Now, at the minute, I've got no faith that he keeps us up. So, like, we've got a bit of a problem, haven't we? Let's be real. So, yeah, it's an issue, mate. It really is. Right, let's have a look. Let's get down here. Let's have a look. James, all good, mate. It's passion for the club. Yeah, I agree. I have apologised for my wording, but I will say this: it will happen again. We're going to the Championship unless we make a change. Fact. Totally agree with Samsey there. I just something's got to give at West Ham. Yeah, and on Saturday, if West Ham was to fail to beat Fulham and lose the game, then I expect him to be sacked that night. Will he be sacked that night, or would it be just papered over with more cracks? Is basically it's another issue altogether. Like there is no issue now. Like at the end of the day, he has to go. All right, for the sake of the club. Now, I feel David Sullivan is thinking that David Moyes is bigger than West Ham. Right, he ain't bigger than West Ham United, and there's no reason why Moyes should still be here, especially after last night's performance. Now, people will say about the game last night and the mistakes, yeah, but Moyes playing Thomas Soucek last night is a crime. It's a crime against football. Like everyone can see that Thomas Soucek is playing as like a number 10 or a second striker. He's not playing as a midfielder, and he's very rarely getting the ball. When he does get the ball, it's like 6 or 7 passes a game. Someone put in my chat, excuse me, I think it was last night. They turned around and said that he's had like something like 18 complete passes in like 3 or 4 games or something, that's terrible. Like for a man who should be on the ball quite a lot, that is terrible. I don't understand why Fornells is not in this team. And this is coming from me, and I am not his biggest fan, Pablo Fornells, and I've not been on the sort of Pablo Fornells bandwagon like many fans have, yeah. But on this one, I look at him and I think he could do a lot better than Thomas Soucek. He really could. Do you know what I mean? And you're rewarding shit performances with a starting place, which for me just doesn't make no sense. Really doesn't. He shouldn't be playing, and he should be dropped and realise that this is not about Thomas Soucek. This is about West Ham United. And it just seems like there's a lot of favouritism at West Ham, and I've called that for a very, very much long time. Let's get down here, have a look. What he's talking about the fans is a disgrace. Fuck him. We go all the time to watch that shit. I'm about to go and watch the youth team play tonight, so I can get entertained. I agree. Some of them fans travel from all over the world to go and see West Ham play. I remember when I met Lucas in London. I met him at Paddington Station. He just flew all the way over from America. Me and him were sitting in the Witherspoons having a pint. And basically, we're in there, and this fan comes in, West Ham shirt, everything. He'd come over to watch the European game. He was from like Norway or somewhere. He was talking about West Ham. And he goes, yeah, I always fly in to watch the game and fly straight back out. That's a passionate and dedicated fan, mate. Right, and there's people like Lucas who's been over here, and there's people who travel up and down the land to come and see West Ham, whether you're from like southwest or up north or down south, wherever. Do you know what I'm saying? Moyes shouldn't be saying anything about the fans, really. Right, he should be saying about himself and what's going wrong in regards to the team. Does Moyes really care? I don't think he really does, because he ain't going to get a better job than West Ham United. I don't believe. I don't think no one else is going to employ him in the Premier League when there's better managers out there. So let's be honest. West Ham United to David Moyes is his real last hurrah, right? Unless he goes into a championship side and brings them up. And that's just my honest opinion. Let's have a look. What else we got here? Clive Marcus. Hope you're all well, Clive. Really do. Moyes also forgets it's a late kickoff last night. People needed to get home. So if we were 4-1 down with 10 left, people had every right to go. We ain't going to score 4 goals or 3, will we? Yeah, I agree, mate. I really do. Cosmo Runner. Love that name. Afternoon, James. Very frustrating, deflating performance from us. A lot of individual errors. Got to keep our chin up and look ahead to Fulham. It's easier said than done. I agree, Cosmo. One thing I will say, West Ham do have to look a bit more positive for that game. But I think you're going to know what West Ham are all about on Saturday. If West Ham go down and get hammered again, then they're just a bunch of cowards, in my opinion. If West Ham show a bit of character and go, right, we've got hammered, we're being embarrassed at home, maybe this is to kick up the arse that we all need, then maybe we might see a different side to West Ham. I think a lot of the backroom staff need to sort of override Moyes. If he says something, yeah, they need to say, no, it ain't right, and take the control out of Moyes' hands. If it causes a row, it causes a row. As simple as that. Because what Moyes is doing, it isn't working at the minute, all right? Another person that I will get to, and which no one really mentions, and I know West Ham Online is a bit of a polarising figure on Twitter, but one thing West Ham Online is right about is Mark Warburton. That man is stealing a living at our club, 100%. I don't understand what he's in here to do. Now, is he in here to do the tactics or like the style of play? I don't know what style of play West Ham are trying to play. I really don't. Are we a counter-attacking team? Are we a pressing team? Are we like? I don't understand what we are. Do you know what I mean? And I think he gets a pass on a hell of a lot of stuff, which it isn't right at all. So it'd be interesting to see what you think of Mark Warburton. I will say that. Arsenal for life. Sad to see what's happening to West Ham. Yeah, I hear you, mate. Thank you very much for joining us today. Really do appreciate it. I come on, but my blood pressure is already too high right now. No worries, Charlie boy. No worries. I understand it, mate. The last time we played well in the Premier League was Liverpool at home in November 2021. I think it was October, late October, beginning of November. I remember that, Samsey. 3-2 win. West Ham played probably the best I've seen them play for a long time. And we was very, very good. The problem is something has happened to sort of derail West Ham over a larger period of time. And I think Europe has really covered up a lot of them issues. Like the Europa Conference League, people were looking at that West Ham never been in the Europa League for a long, long time. Well, it used to be, I think it's the UEFA Cup last time West Ham was in it, or in the Toto Cup. Now, when we got to the semi-final, it was amazing. But I think people looked at that and thought that was an achievement to get to the semi-final. Yeah. Now, it was an achievement, but we didn't achieve nothing to sort of justify the sort of amount of respect that Moyes gets. Do you know what I'm saying? Yes, he done very, very well, but come on, let's be real. We failed in it. Well, we should have won that competition, and we took Frankfurt for granted at home, and then away from home, we got done. Literally, ascending off killed us, and he just killed the game. And do you know what? That's one game I do feel sorry for every single fan that went. Because I look at them and I think, what we was hopeless over there. There was nothing we could do. Like, there's nothing really. I look at this year. I think we've been bitty, like in moments. I can't really remember a game where West Ham have been absolutely top class, like from start to finish. I think the Wolves game at home is probably the best performance I think that West Ham have put in. I know people are going to say like Nottingham Forest when we beat them 4-0, but for 70 minutes of that game we was good, but it took us a long, long time to break Forest down. Do you know what I mean? And Forest are an easy team to break down, in my opinion. Now, when I do look at West Ham in regards of sort of the back end of this season, like some of the performances, it's like one win, one draw, and it seems to paper over the cracks moving forward, which it shouldn't be like that. It really shouldn't. It's not happening when the 4-0 to Brighton has already proven the bold stubbornness, reluctant to change. Yeah, but there has to come a time where their stubbornness has to give it in the end, though. Wouldn't you agree? Like for me, last 4-0 to Brighton, okay, I agree. He should have went then. Yeah, but 5-1 at home against Newcastle in front of your own fans and how embarrassing we was, I think that there is no choice, really. There is no choice. KC. Yes, West Ham have only won 14 games since December 2021. Almost all the teams were relegated or relegated zone teams. It's terrible, mate. Terrible. It really is. It really is. So Sullivan is the biggest penny pincher around. Won't pay measly 11, 12 million or whatever it is to sack him. Totally agree. Totally agree. Moyes will be here till the end of the season. As fans, we'll just have to learn to live with that, and then come to someone look to completely overhaul top down. I understand that, but is it time to sort of look at that and go, you're gambling? You're literally gambling with West Ham's future. Do you know what I mean? Would you have more, like, if I was running a business, or I use it as an example, if you're running a business and one of your top employees isn't performing, you have to literally say to them, you need to buck up your ideas or you're going to be down the road. And I just don't think Sullivan is that way inclined. Like something Simon Jordan said today on Talk Sport, and whatever you think of Simon Jordan, some things I do agree with him on. He said whatever Sullivan does, he does on his own accord. He doesn't care about background noise. And at the end of the day, the background noise is getting stronger and stronger. I don't think it'll be before too long before people will start voicing their concerns outside the ground as well as inside the ground. I think it's gonna get to that stage if action is not taken as soon as possible, in my opinion. Time to be true supporters, James. Yeah, I know. Holly, how are you? I will ring you later. James, don't apologise for anything you said. Maka, you said what 90% of us all think. Yes, very true, Keith. Very true, mate. Might need to have a drop and full reset. Yeah, I agree on that. Let's get down the bottom here. Let's have a look. Agree with Sandwich on this. What has Fornells and Lindsay done to Moyes? They've counted on the crucial games in the past 2 seasons. Now they don't get a sniff. The Lanzini one, for me, when I look at Lanzini, I look at him and think, well, should he be playing? Really? Maybe not. Yeah, in my opinion. Yeah. But the Pablo Fornells one does baffle me, even me. And I do look at it and I think, why is Pablo not even anywhere like near this team? And he's only getting sort of 5 minutes every sort of dead game, basically. Like the other day, he comes on against Southampton for 5 minutes or 4 minutes or whatever it was. Yeah. And then last night, we need someone to come on, get the ball and pass the ball and try and make something happen. And he's sitting on the bench. Like, he's just sitting on the bench. And something's happened behind the scenes there, 100%. Because Pablo Fornells used to play all the time. And I mean, it was like he was religiously playing all the time. Now, he don't play at all. Literally not one bit. And it'd be interesting to see what the team lineup is on Saturday. Because if certain men are in this team, then I can understand that, like, the meltdown on Twitter and social media in regards of like what's going on. It's not right. Fornells should be playing in games. I'm not saying about that he's top class ability or he's going to score goals or make goals or anything, but he's a decent player to have in the side, right? And he's playing this thing with Thomas Soucek that just does not work. It just does not work at all. And you're relying on Thomas Soucek, and West Ham are literally carrying 10 men every game because he's very rarely in the game. Like, I mean, last night he got a 5.9 on ratings on some platform that I saw, nothing on Twitter or YouTube. And I was like, what are they saying? 5.9? I wouldn't even give him a 3. I thought he was terrible. Like, do you know what I'm saying? And that's not me being critical of Soucek, but you've got to look at it. What does he bring to the side now? And I'll never forget, anyone who knows Jazz from the West Ham Irons channel, I'll never forget what Jazz said to me a long time ago. He said, James, when you look at Thomas Soucek, you take the goals away, what does he really bring? And when I looked at it, I thought, you have got a point. Like, what does Soucek really bring? Like, if he don't score a goal, what else does he really do to sort of be included in this side? And that to me is not a lot. Fornells should be playing. He really should. Right, let's get down here. Holly's getting loads of birthday messages. Lovely. The one thing that always struck me with Moyes in the interviews and conference is that he never ever goes into details about tactics. Win or lose, he's always talks very simple terms. Because I actually don't believe Snazzy, that he does the tactics. I think that's on Warburton. Now, WestHamOnline, for how much he drives me mad, he does come out with some facts. And he said about Warburton, and WestHamOnline, you ask WestHamOnline about Mark Warburton, he massively hates the man, like literally with passion. And for me, I look at Mark Warburton, and I don't understand what Mark Warburton brings to West Ham, if I'm being honest. The only thing he's ever done is bring Flynn Downs here. That's it. I think he's involved in the tactics and the way West Ham set up. And then, listen, where I do the spaces on Twitter, and I've done it with the lads, you start talking to different people. And a lot of people have said about when West Ham tried to play these possession-based games, 3-4-3, that's all on Mark Warburton. Like, that was all at the start of the season. Now, he's trying to go to a 4-3-3, which is the right system, but he's just got the wrong personnel in there, in my opinion. I've always called for a 4-3-3 at West Ham, and I said West Ham would be a very, very good side in a 4-3-3 system. But you don't play Thomas Soucek in a 4-3-3. Do you know what I'm saying? You just don't do it. And what it is, he's trying to get Soucek, Rice, and Paqueta as a free at some point. It just doesn't work. And I just look at Fornells or even Lanzini to a point could do a better job than Thomas Soucek on the ball. Do you know what I'm saying? So, yeah, that is an issue also. What would you rather, James? Premier League every week, struggling, or in the Championship, enjoying yourselves week in, week out? For me, I want to see West Ham in the Premier League. Yeah, that is for me, Arsenal for life. At the end of the day, the Championship is not for us. We're bigger than that. Right? And we, as a fan base, we should be saying No, we don't want to go in the Championship. We want to be competing at the top end of the Premier League. Now, I'm not saying win the league. I'm not saying top 4, but at least top 10. Like, that is not out of the realms of possibility. When I look at teams like Brighton and Brentford, their money ball system that they use, where they sort of buy and sell players for large amounts of money, and they just keep like turning it over. And I look at Brighton. Brighton are a well organised side. West Ham can't beat Brighton in the Premier League ever. Literally, every time we play them, there's always loss or draw. So I don't want a Championship. I'd rather stay in the Premier League. West Ham shouldn't be struggling either. Not with the amount of money that West Ham have got at their disposal. And I don't want to go back to GSB, but I will do for this. We was promised something different to what we're getting. Do you know what I'm saying? Yes, we had 2 years of Europe, but that's only what we was promised. Let's remember that. At the minute, we're on the verge that we could be going into the Championship, which wouldn't be good for West Ham in an overall grander scheme of things. Let's get down the bottom here. Don't hire one of these managers that are worth 10, 20 million already. Hire a manager with some spirit. Not a rich guy. Will Still, he will care, not like the others managers like Rodgers and Potter. I want Will Still in for the simple fact is he will know exactly what it means to every West Ham fan. He's no mug, Will Still. I know people are not on the Will Still train, like I am, but Will Still is doing a very, very good job. He has managed at other levels, right? And what he's doing in France is very, very good. And people are taking note. Now, I want someone who generally cares about West Ham United. Now, that means Will Still comes here and he's a fan of West Ham United. He will know exactly how every fan wants to play, what they expect from West Ham United as a football club. At the minute, we don't know what we're expecting, really, if I'm being honest. Like, come Saturday, we don't know how West Ham are going to set up, how they're going to play, the style of play. We just don't know, right? And I believe Will Still could bring something to West Ham and develop players also. I think he could develop some decent players at West Ham, in my honest opinion. Right, let's get down the bottom here. Let's have a look what we got. Right, let's just skip. The football played this season has been so poor. I totally agree. Moyes comes across as very arrogant. He never takes the blame for anything, but instead he calls out the fans. In his own words, he tells us to stand up and be true supporters. That is an insult to me. Like, that to me is an absolute insult to every West Ham fan who was there last night. Stand up and be true supporters. But what makes me laugh is, Dave, when you lose 4-0 at Brighton, you scutter down the fucking tunnel. You run down that tunnel and you don't even face the fans. And you got the front and audacity to turn around and say, stand up and be true supporters. I wonder whether you will say that on Saturday if West Ham don't get a positive result at Fulham. Are you going to go to the away fans and say, stand up and be true supporters? The problem is with West Ham fans, they are true supporters. And they tell you exactly what we think. And we're not afraid to say it. Do you know what I mean? As West Ham fans, we don't ask for a lot. All we ask for is decent football, a few decent players, and play with pride and passion for the shirt, for the claret and blue. That's all we ask, really. We're not like any other club where we expect to be winning trophies or anything, because we haven't won a trophy in 43 years. Like, we haven't. So, for me, we don't ask a lot as fans. But it seems like when we do ask for something, we're not true supporters. I find it quite insulting, if I'm being truthfully honest. And he's burning his bridges very, very much so. No hate for Fab. The best man starts no matter what. No hard feelings. It's ball. Yeah. Yeah, Fabianski last night, I will say this before I get to that next comment, is that Fabianski last night was shambolic. Absolutely shambolic. Do you know what? It's a very hard one for me because he was keeping us in the game at one stage. He was making some good saves. And then the fourth goal error is just an absolute howler. I know people say about Aguerd for the first goal. I looked at it back. I got it wrong. It is a little bit more on Aguerd than it is Fabianski. But Fabianski is at fault there, really. Also, it's just a major sod up of everything. Do you know what I'm saying? So, yeah, Fabianski, it's not good. David Moyes complaining about us leaving the LS. Why wouldn't I, when I'm watching him serve us the same shit every week? Totally agree with Freddie. At this rate, James, I'd be flying to Perth in July to watch a championship team, unless things take a massive turnaround. I agree, mate. I agree. I know we're all down. I will say this: I know we're all down and gutted after last night. I'll be honest. Like last night, I sat there and like after I'd done everything, I just sat there and I just went, "What is going on?" Like literally, just calm yourself down. It's like, what is the crack with West Ham there? Do you know what I mean? But I know we're down, but we're not out. That's one thing I will say. One thing I will say is, come Saturday, we need to see a different side to West Ham. Do you know what I mean? A side that I've not seen. I keep saying it, but I just don't see it. Now, on Saturday, if we draw the game, I think it papers over the cracks. I think if we win the game, I think it's a positive result, but I do think he should go regardless of what the result is on Saturday. I think Saturday's the perfect time to sack him. I think if you line someone up for the role, if it's Kevin Nolan and Mark Noble or someone like that to the end of the season, I'll take that right now. I really would. If it means going out and getting another manager who's out of work, so be it. Moyes shouldn't be here anymore. Do you know what I mean? Because the way I look at it is Sullivan is gambling with West Ham. Do you know what I mean? And I understand what people say about Moyes. And someone said to me today, like in my comment section, and turned around and said to me, James, this is more on Moyes than it is on Sullivan. I look at it like this. This is on Sullivan. Sullivan's allowing it to carry on. Right? He is. Like, he should be throwing Moyes out the door and saying, right, that's enough. I can't take this no more. And he isn't. So, you know, it is what it is. Lanzini's the only player in the squad who comes into space and finds the ball. And I'm always on the turn as forwards. Yeah, I agree. This ball did the same thing with Avram Grant that kept giving him chance after chance. I agree on that, Ultra. I really do. I remember that season, 2011 season, when we got relegated. And that season hurt me massively. It was an Arsenal game, if I remember rightly, when we lost 3-1, I think the scoreline was. And it was a beginning to end of January. And we lost the game 3-1. And that night, he was literally waving goodbye to the fans. And we all thought he was going to get the sack. And we thought Martin O'Neill was going to be in charge. It didn't materialise because I think something happened with Martin O'Neill where it came out in the press. And basically, West Ham stuck with Avram Grant. In the end, Avram Grant got us relegated. And the same thing is happening with Moyes again under this ownership. And it shouldn't be like that. It really, really shouldn't. Right? West Ham are bigger than this. And I can't stress enough. West Ham are a big club in London. And when I look at us, with the ground that we've got, the history that we've got, we should be better than what we're doing. I really do agree. I agree, James. Lindsay's not so much, but 4-0's definite. Yeah. Lads, smash a like on the like button. Whoop, there it is. Yeah. See, Snazzy, you do love that, don't you, mate? I must admit. Chris 123. Thomas Soucek, 75 minutes, 22 passes, 0 tackles, 1 versus Brighton. 9 passes, 1 tackle, 1 versus Aston Villa, 68 minutes, 11 passes, 52%, 1 tackle, 1 versus Southampton, 63 minutes, 8 passes. Wow. Well, that's not exactly great, is it? Let's be honest. What we got? Let's get down to the bottom here. I'm going to try and get down to the bottom. Right, we've got PD. I think the only reason 4-0 is not playing is because of Benny. It's form this season. Plus, Moyes feels 4-0 and Pack can't play in the same team. Maybe BD, but I think if you was to try it once, but it'd be nice to try it once and see how it got on. Like, we just don't see it. And the thing what does me is you just don't see 4-0 no more. Right? He drives West Ham online mental as it goes. Like, yeah, he literally has a breakdown because he don't see Pablo 4-0 inside, but you just don't see him. You really don't. I think the problem is David Moyes is too friendly with the ball, which is why we are in a predicament. I don't think he has to be or understands West Ham. He just needs to clear a philosophy and direction. Totally agree with Joshua on that. When I do look at West Ham and I do look at him, I think Sullivan don't want to sack him for the simple fact he doesn't want to lose faith because he sacked him once before and it didn't work out. And David Moyes, like now he's digging the fans there. How is that acceptable? Surely the owners should turn around and say to him, listen, at the end of the day, you can't keep digging the fans out. He's digging the fans out in front of on national TV. So it shouldn't be. It really, really shouldn't. Right, let's get down here. Let's have a look. See what, right, who's that? Right. Damien's not happy with Callum Wilson. Yeah, I see his interview last night. I must admit, I really did want to put something through the TV, but I can't afford to buy a new TV at the end of the day. So, you know, fucking Callum Wilson, mate. I thought it was terrible when Cornet was swapping shirts with the Newcastle players in the centre spot. Yeah, football's just slowly going away. Cornet's a disgrace. Needs to do something for the club before swapping shirts. Yeah, he does need to do something. A draw isn't good enough on Saturday. I agree, Ben. We need to win. I think I want to see it all out attack on Saturday, and whatever happens, happens. If we could go out and there and attack Fulham, we might be able to get something out of the game. I do think we can get something out of the game. I predicted it all this week that I believe we will beat Fulham. We have to beat Fulham now. When was the last time Moyes actually accompanied a player? Instead, this season, he always does put down players, player after player. How many do or die games have we had? He's not going anywhere. Yeah, I agree. Let's have a look at this. Alan Dunn is in the back of a comment. I think Sullivan has lost interest since his mate goal passed away. Even when they show him on the screen, he doesn't even look like he's watching the game. Well, what it is, Alan, he's got a new bird now, hasn't he, Sullivan? So he's got a bit of skirt now, so he's over the moon. So now he's like, she's entertaining him. He's winding and dining her. He don't really give a crap about the team that he's sort of bought and all us fans and anything. Now, don't get me wrong, we don't care about him either. So for the sake of the club, he needs to go. But before he goes, he needs to sack David Moyes, and he just don't. At the end of the day, Moyes is granted in disguise. Totally agree on that one. It's like deja vu over again. Lucas Sullivan is the end all be all of this club. This makes himself, yeah. Right. If I've missed anyone's comment, I do apologise. Liam, Rogers, Potter, Ange, take your pick. Get Moyes out now. Totally agree. See, if West Ham was an ambitious club for me, yeah, and I do say it's quite open. If West Ham were really ambitious and meant, you know what, we can't have this no more, they would go and get someone out of their contract and bring someone here. Like if they was to pay Potter the money that you wanted, they could get Potter. I think. Do you know what I mean? So it's just West Ham in general, isn't it? Someone said if Moyes keeps picking Soucek, we will go down because it's just like playing with 10 men. And I can't disagree. I agree on that. I really do. Very much Thomas Soucek has done good at West Ham. What he's doing right now is just non-effective. Is that on Thomas Soucek, or is it the style of play West Ham are trying to play? Or is it the role that Moyes is trying to play him in? It just doesn't make no sense to me why Thomas Soucek is playing in this sort of number 10/8 role. Like, just don't make no sense to me. Someone said it the other day. Me and Clive clashed about it and said about the aerial ability of Thomas Soucek. I don't really see that anymore, if I'm being honest. Like, goals are still going in with headers. Like, the amount of headers that we've conceded over the last sort of 4 or 5 games, you've only got to look at it. Like, where is Thomas Soucek? He's nowhere near it, even in the box to clear anything out. So, you know, it's what it is. Sullivan should not be allowed in the stadium. Totally agree on that. Well, let's get down here. Let's have a look. Clive, what was your ratings for Soucek last night? Well, Clive's got other issues at the minute, but he probably wouldn't have been a good rating, and that is all the comments at the bottom there. Before I wrap this up, obviously the next sort of 24, 48 hours are going to be hard for every West Ham fan. Like, looking forward to Fulham on Saturday. Like, Saturday is going to be bad. Like, Southampton, I thought everyone was nervous about that. This one I am really nervous about. I don't know why, but I just think West Ham will turn up in this game. I look at Fulham, take Mitrovic out of this team, and I think, you know what, we've got half a chance of doing something. The problem is now is we're in a no-win situation here. If we win the game, he's here. If we lose the game, we lose points. He might even still be here. We're at a crossroads really, and the problem is with it, we just don't know which road we're going to be heading down in grand scheme of things. So, you know, let's have a look. James, it winds me up. Moyes said that Ings can't play up top alone. Then he goes and plays him up top alone. Totally agree with James on that. I really, really do. I will put my ratings up for all the team on Twitter, Richard. Most likely tonight. A few other things that are going on. Yeah, that's all right, mate. You do whatever you got to do. Clive Marcus. West Ham online. Paqueta is not a 10. Now everyone's having a round with West Ham Online. One thing I'm going to say is West Ham Online gets half a lot of stick. Right, I'm going to wrap that up there from me on this sort of stream. Before I go, I'm going to say a few things that I want to say. First off, in regards of E20, on this channel, I speak to West Ham fans. That's what I do. Right? Doesn't matter where you are from on this planet, any person who supports West Ham United Football Club, E13 to E20, you're always welcome on this channel. Yeah. I don't look at anyone and discriminate them because they're from America or Brazil or Australia. Anyone is welcome to come on there and have their say about West Ham. Yeah. Some people live far, far away that can't go to the games, and they use YouTube as a social media outlet to express their feelings and desires about the team that they support. I was very, very naive to certain things before I started YouTube, but as I've done the YouTube, I've started to meet different people. I've met all kinds of people from all over the world in regards to West Ham fans, like fans that I would never believe supported West Ham United Football Club at all. Some of them, like from Japan, Australia, America. I've met a lot of people. Spoke to a lot of people on Twitter also. Now, for me, there's no line over on here. Do you know what I'm saying? I want people to come on and express their thoughts and feelings about West Ham. I've got no problem with that at all. Anyone who does have a problem, it's on them, and it's their problem at the end of the day, right? And it's not a problem of mine. Yeah, as long as they're respectful to all the lads who are on here, right? I haven't got to care less. Obviously, West Ham Online does drive people mad, and he is a pain in the arse. But I've got to respect West Ham Online's opinion, even though sometimes I don't agree with it. And trust me, I've had many rows with West Ham Online, and me and him have nearly killed each other on multiple occasions. But I've still got to respect his opinion, because his opinion is his opinion. And I haven't got to like it, I've got to respect it. So that's on that. Moving forward, it's going to be a busy sort of weekend again on E20. Saturday is the game. There will be no watch along, and there will be an after-thought player ratings, as there always is, either Saturday or Sunday. And yeah, I'm going to leave it on this. I want everyone to sort of take a bit of time and just reflect a little bit. Sometimes West Ham drive you mad, but I'm going to be honest, life is too short. I heard something earlier on today from one of the lads who comes on this channel about he said a loss to a family member. Now, for me, life's too short to have these rows on Twitter and social media. You know what I mean? You only got one life, and you just got to go and enjoy yourself. And that's what I'm going to do this weekend. I'm going to go and enjoy my weekend, my Easter weekend. I want all the lads to do what they've got to do, and we will continue to do what we're doing on here. Do you know what I mean? If people don't like what we're doing on here, it's tough at the end of the day, because I'm going to still do it. And I will make sure if people are supportive of this channel, yeah, like the lads that who come on this channel, right, if we go far, I will take them with me, because I won't leave no one behind. That is definite from me. I'm not in this to earn any money. I'm not in this for like any sort of financial gain. I'm in it because I love West Ham to bits, and this is the only reason why I do it, is because I don't go to any games. Yeah, and I don't go to any games for the simple fact of the owners of this club. If I did, I might look at it a bit different, but this is my outlet, so it's as simple as that. So I'm going to leave it at that, and just have a think about it. Over Easter bank holiday weekend, spend it with your family, your loved ones. Don't let West Ham drive you down, mate. I'll tell you that now, because if they do, it just put you into an early grave, and no one wants that. Do you know what I'm saying? Anyway, take care of yourselves. I'll be back tomorrow, 1 o'clock, with West Ham Online to talk West Ham versus Fulham at Craven Cottage. What will happen at Craven Cottage, I just don't know. I just don't know. But what I do know is we need a performance of the best performance of the season. Yeah, will we get it? I don't think we will, but we live in hope. Anyway, have a good Friday, and I'll see you tomorrow on Good Friday. Peace.
There it is. I've never found a love like this.